Hi, so my name's Jack Colmer, and I'm the student that put up the bin bag dispenser in Hyde Park, and I'm here to talk about how and why I did it. So the inspiration came a couple of months ago on a Tuesday, which was a very hot Tuesday, and I believe all the country flooded to the parks. I myself was up in Newcastle at the time with my friends, and towards the end of the day we were really struggling to pick all our litter up, whether it be food wrappers, bottles, cans. We didn't have enough room to put it all in, so I just thought if we had some bin bags here, we could help solve the issue by picking everything up. There'd be plenty of room to collect stuff, and we could also pass it out to other people in the park and they could start clearing their stuff. The next day there was lots of images on BBC websites of how bad the parks were left, and especially Hyde Park. So at that point I thought, okay, something could be done about this. So while I'm back at home, I do a lot of building, DIY, and it's a bit of a hobby of mine. So I thought I'd just get some wood together and just start thinking, how can I build something which allows people to access bin bags in a park and help clear their litter up? So as you can see on screen, there's a step-by-step of how I did it. And I kind of made it up as I went along. There was no plan beforehand. So the best way to describe it is I built 6 letter boxes for bin bags, and you just slot the roll of bin bags in, and then you can pull it out through the slot and tear it off how many bin bags you want to use. And I didn't want to make this too fancy. I didn't want to make too much effort into it because I generally didn't think it would still be standing. I thought it would be destroyed, but thankfully it's still there today, and it's doing its purpose, which is really good. I also painted it a really disgusting colour of brown to make it stand out as well, a bit of an eyesore. But also the more it stood out, the more people would notice it and come and get a bin bag. And on the side of it, I put a bottle opener with a shelf that would catch the bottle top. And this was kind of more of an interactive way of students who are drinking on the park. They can come crack open a beer on the side, and while they're there, they may as well take a bin bag away with them to their group. So once I built it, I put a post up in the Leeds student group, and this really blew up from there, and I generally didn't think it would at all. I thought 100 people might see it, share it with their friends, make people aware that it's there, and then that'll be the last of it. But it completely blew up, and within a few days it was on Lab Bible, it was on BBC News, I was on radio shows talking about it, which was really good because it allowed me to create more of awareness about littering, and it wasn't just about the bin bag dispenser anymore. It was actually more about stop littering, because it's just lazy. It really is just a pet hate of mine. It's just very lazy to do. And also within the group, 2 students approached me, Fia and Kiara. They designed these 2 posters here. And this was a really good way, I suppose, of getting students involved, make it a bit more fun, a bit more interactive. We allowed them to kind of think of their own slogans and poster titles, which we were aiming to put around like the parks and on the social media pages. So it was a good way to kind of let students take control and try and change the stigma that we've had for so long about causing litter, but actually it was a good way to kind of fight back and say that we want to take responsibility and we want to try and change this image that we have of ourselves. So while the bin bag was up for about a month, 6 weeks, it never really had a day where the park was flooded with people, where it could really be tested to see if it would solve a littering problem, partly because the weather was a bit rubbish. But on the 20th of April, it's quite a big day in Leeds. Loads and loads of people flooded to the park. I would say a couple of thousand at least. And this was the first day where I believe it was properly tested. And it's probably one of the busiest days Hyde Park will see. So it was good to see if it can handle that on a busy day, then on days which are less populated, it will still be able to do the job. And while I was at the park myself that day, and in all fairness, the bin bags ran out very quickly. But people were using it, which was the main thing. A lot of people were going to the stand, taking bin bags away. Even when bin bags were gone, people were coming to the stand to collect them, showing that they actually wanted to do something. But we ran out of bin bags at the time, and it's not something that I want to keep refilling. I kind of wanted to get the community in where people walking by can just pop a bin bag roll in, and it will help kind of maintain it. But on the day, it was very busy, and I'm not saying it was perfect. There was some litter left behind, but it was definitely clear that it was making an impact, and people were aware it was there and definitely using it, which was, I suppose, the benefit. And it's very good to see that it actually was doing its purpose as well. So here's a video of Hyde Park the day after 420, and as you can see, it's pretty much spotless. And this was about 9:30, 10 in the morning, and this is where I'm not saying it was left spotless. It was definitely not. There was definitely litter left on 420 in the park, and I know there were litter picker groups out that evening and even the day in the morning after, picking up the remains. However, what was definitely clear to see was that the litter pickers were done by about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, and that was their day done of litter picking. However, when the day that inspired the build, the following day, litter pickers were out till 4, 5 in the afternoon still picking up stuff. So it's definitely clear that having the bin bags on there made a difference, and people were taking more responsibility to put their stuff in the bins. And again, like, bin bags were still left by the bins, so people weren't taking the rubbish away. However, they were leaving it in a pile, in a bag, which allowed the council to come and just chuck it in the back of one of their trucks, saving them a whole day of picking it up and putting it into bags. So it's not solved the issue. However, it's reduced the time of litter pickers down by a substantial amount, and it's definitely shown that it's worked, which is definitely the main thing. So I suppose going on from this and moving forward, obviously I've got uni work and dissertation stuff in. So I suppose once I finish that, I'd like to try and start a campaign again of trying to build momentum from what it had originally to try and take it beyond Leeds. I've had interest from companies all over the country. I've had interest from countries that work with councils. They want to get it in parks. And it's definitely something I want to continue. I'm just trying to get uni out the way first, and then I can really concentrate on it. Ideally, I'd like to build a structure which is more sustainable. So stop using wood, because once wood breaks, you can't really use it again, and it just rots as well in the rain. So my idea was to mass produce cardboard cutout versions which are quite sturdy and water resistant. So they're very cheap to make, and you can just slot them together like a flat pack design. And then you can put them up in parks, you can put them up in festivals, you can put them on beaches. And the advantage is, if they get destroyed, you can just recycle them and use them again. And they're very cheap, so it doesn't matter if they get destroyed. You can just pop up another one to make. And then from that, we're trying to get more councils on board, trying to see if they like the idea of this, and if it would benefit their council and their parks. And obviously try and create a campaign where students take more responsibility, try and get students involved in the designing process of it, in the marketing process. Like, rather this be like a my thing, make this a university or a student thing where we can, like I say, try and change the stigma and change the perception we have of ourselves. So that's my bin bag dispenser talk. Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, please feel free to get in contact.
Thanks for sharing your presentation and your project. I think it's really great. Obviously, it's had a huge impact on the community, on the council. You got a lot of traction from it. How long has this actually been up now on Hyde Park?
I think it's been up for about nearly 6 weeks to 8 weeks. I can't actually quite remember. Yeah, I'd probably say about 2 months now. It's been up.
About 2 months now. Awesome. And then obviously you got a lot of traction from this. How many interviews and talks and articles actually got written about this, or do you not know? Because I know you said you were on the radio. And
I think altogether it's like at least 20, 25. It's like ranging from I've done a lot of journalism stuff for students who are studying journalism. They want to kind of do like a piece for their coursework. And then ranging from that up to like some new newspaper articles,
nice.
Lab Bible, like BBC Radio and BBC News as well, and then obviously like a lot of different radio shows. So it's probably about 20 plus now, and they've all kind of just covered their own little version of it.
Nice. It's nice that you've done some student interviews as well, because I mean, obviously it's great in the uni. Because obviously you're a student, they're students.
Yeah, it's nice to help out as well, to like help students do
that's nice.
Stuff.
Yeah, and then obviously because you just made this yourself, put it up, didn't have to get any council permission because you were just sort of doing it on your own. Have you had any kind of reaction from the council because obviously it's still there, so they've not taken it down. Has anyone gotten in touch with you?
I mean, I've emailed a couple of counsellors, and I've not really had a reply yet. And I think the fact that I went and just put it up without getting anyone's permission was probably a risky way of doing it. But having it had such a big support and reaction, I think now it would be quite a silly move for the council to then get rid of it. So I think because it got such a good reaction, it's allowed to stay. But I don't know if this will like be the case if I was to do that again somewhere else.
Yeah. And you talk a lot about it. You want it to be a community responsibility. You want everyone to see it, and then that kind of spark a change in everyone. You said that you want the community to go and fill it up, for it to be everyone's responsibility, not just yours. Like, you started it, but it's for everyone else to keep it going. Have you been following this? Because I know it's on Facebook a lot, and it's been posted on there. Do you have any way of kind of following anyone doing it? Do people post like, "Oh, I filled this up"?
Yeah, so when I put it up, I had a local come up to me and he said to me, "Oh, this is a really good idea. Whenever I walk by it, I'll see if it needs to be filled in, and I'll put some stuff in." And that was kind of the approach I wanted everyone to have, to see if they could walk past it. I mean, however many students are on Leeds or locals, between everyone, it shouldn't take a lot. Have it over the last few months of it being put up, people have like messaged me being like, "Oh, it's still up," and I was like, "Oh, is the bin bags in there?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, there's still bin bags." So I haven't seen anyone do it, but it's clear people are topping it up as they go along, which is good.
Yeah, people are doing it. And this guy that spoke to you, he was an actual local, like an actual
he wasn't
grown up, not a student.
Yeah, he was a grown up.
That's nice that you've obviously kind of affected the student population and the permanent residents for around here, because obviously around Woodhousemore and Hyde Park, it's a pretty heavy mix of students and locals. So that must feel nice.
Yeah, it was.
And you spoke about maybe a flat pack version of your design with waterproof cardboard that can be ordered and put up quite cheap. Is this something we can hope to see at festivals? Because I think that would be great, especially at like festival campsites. I could see that being really useful.
Yeah, I mean, that was originally the idea. Like, we had a bit of a brainstorm, and I kind of put it all on hold while I was finishing like my dissertation and stuff. So it'd be good now that I've finished to be able to pick it up again. But yeah, it was like try and make a more sustainable option where, because wood, you can't really use it once it gets broken. You can't like melt it down or whatever like you can with plastics. So cardboard would be good because if it gets damaged in the rain or just like broken, you can just chuck it away and get it recycled again. And it can be made into a new one. But yeah, definitely flat pack designs where you maybe put them up for 5 days and then you can take them down after, or like recycle them again. It'd be good for like say festivals, beaches, other park and area. Or like you just maybe instead of having a permanent structure up, you maybe put them up for those really busy days that you're anticipating to have, or something like that.
Yeah, I can see that being really useful. I think that's really innovative because there are all kinds of like film festivals, music festivals, beach. It'd be great, or it'd even be great if someone's having a party at their own house, and then people come around and help tidy up. I think it's got loads of uses.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Something I picked up on is that you were really sort of focused on the idea that it's horrible, and obviously it is mainly students that go to the park and leave all this rubbish. And you spoke a lot about changing the stigma of a lazy student. Is the narrative of students being lazy and littering, is that something that's always bothered you?
I wouldn't say it's always been students. I think littering in general, I think, has always bothered me because it's so lazy, and I believe that's like the one thing you can kind of have control of, especially when it comes to the environment. You can take away what you brought. So it's definitely just like a lazy and like attitude to have. And I just think within Leeds, because it's such a student populated area, we do kind of get the backlash for it. And I'm not saying we aren't responsible completely, but there are other kids that go on the parks. There are like younger kids. So it's not just students, but we are, I suppose, a big part of it. But it was good. It's good to see if this can be turned around, like you said, where students try and change it and try and get more behind the idea of anti-littering, and then we can try and, like you say, change the stigma a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, even this project alone is going to change the narrative that students go out and they don't care and they'll, leave it wherever. Just just your project alone will change the narrative, and then the fact that it's being continued is a huge impact. The fact that you said that, you know, the bin bags are being refilled by, you know, nameless people, so it's not even like people are doing it purely to go, look, I've filled this bin bag up, because I mean that's not why you did it. You got all the infused and all that, and I remember us having a conversation, and you said that, you know, it's all just a bit much.
Yeah, it was a bit mind blowing how many people started like calling me and getting in touch with me. So that was a bit of a wake up call. But it was, apart from that, it was nice to see the positive effects of it, I think.
Yeah, and obviously from this and all the traction this got, you've been sought out for consultation on another similar project. How does that make you feel? You know, you've now become
really nice. That was
almost the authority on.
Hello. Sorry, it just cut out there. Yeah, that was really good to see.
Hello.
Students like my idea, and they had something that was like on similar lines, and it was nice to have like kind of they wanted to get my input, my ideas, which was really nice to see that they obviously liked the initial one, and their idea is going to be really good, I think, and it kind of all follows that same route of students taking control and changing the stigma again.
It's great. I think obviously, again, your project got so much traction, and you've had your consultations sort. It's made you a bit of a pioneer of things like this. You know, there are going to be students who maybe do other projects like this in the future, and you're going to get traced back as being, you know, patient zero for doing things like this. Is that it's, you know, you're leaving somewhat of a legacy, which is great. You know, especially last year, to be able to go, this is my legacy, everyone do something similar.
It'll be nice to have something planted in Leeds. Like, having been here 3 years, I've got something I can like remember about, which is nice. Yeah,
that would be great. And, you know, after you've done this project, which started out as just a little idea that you didn't think much would come from, you just did it because you thought it, what advice would you give to someone who's maybe seeing something in the community, seeing something within students, and they've got an idea? What advice would you give to them?
Just, I think, create your idea or whatever it is you want, just try and make it happen, and then just do it. Like, I think getting permission isn't always the best way. Sometimes obviously you need it, but sometimes if you get permission and then they say no, then you can't ever do it. But if you get permission and they say yes, sorry, if you don't ask, sorry, then at least you can put it up. And then similar with mine, if it gets a good reaction, then obviously it's liked, it's a good idea, so people want to keep it up. But if not, you have to take it down. But at least if you don't get permission, you can have it up for a certain amount of time where people can see the impact. So I'm not saying go against the council at all, but I'm just saying maybe just go up and just do it.
Yeah, I suppose it's always easier to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, so that's great. I think that's awesome. Again, I won't absolutely drill you with all the same interview questions, because like you said, you've done about 20 interviews. You must have been asked the same questions over and over again. And obviously your presentation was amazing. I was watching it thinking of questions and I was like, wow, this guy has covered every single base.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to add on to the end?
Not that I can think of, no. I think it's quite a thorough interview.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for sharing your presentation and answering these questions. I'm absolutely certain you've been an inspiration, an absolute representative of Leeds students, Leeds Beckett. Everyone's so proud for you. People that you've never met have said, oh, we're so proud, we're so proud. So that must be a quite nice, warm, fuzzy feeling.
Yeah, that's nice. It's definitely nice to have that. So yeah, and thank you, I suppose, everyone else as well that's supported it as well.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.